Since ancient times, the Anatolian Peninsula has been the preferred shortcut when traveling between Asia and Europe. And that translated into the modern era when the Ottoman Empire laid its first rail tracks back in the mid-19th century. But that early start was short-lived. For most of the past several decades, the country's rail lines did not see many upgrades. Things are different now as Turkey looks to expand both its domestic lines and to connect it to a global rail network. Let's take a look at this report.
2023'te yatırımlarımızda demiryolunun payını %60'a, demiryolu ağımızı da 16.675 kilometreye çıkarmayı hedefledik.
And to discuss where Turkey's rail network could be headed, joining me from Ankara is Murat Karatekin. He is the CEO of Pasifik Eurasia, which is the exclusive operator of Turkey's state railways. And from Surrey, UK, Maurizio Zanardi. He is the head of the School of Economics at the University of Surrey. Gentlemen, welcome to Straight Talk. It's good to have you on the program. Murat, what's the driving force behind Turkey's decision to boost its railway investments, which will have reached about 17,000 kilometers by 2023?
I mean, it's perfect location as far as being a sort of transport hub towards east and west. And furthermore, railway is the essential tool for Turkish exporters to open its gates towards east. Mm-hmm. And if you just consider the parcours that we have developed over 1.5 years, and there will be more coming. So there will be, macro and microeconomics evolving out of this railway transportation system. And the more we invest in it, and I must say that Turkey has invested, immensely, and there will be more investments coming up. And we have, I believe, the strategy. Quantity is okay. Making more, cargoes being transferred is a good issue. But the quality is another factor, because throughout the railway transportation, we see that the local, economies are kind of developing very fast. Mm-hmm. And I don't refer only to Turkey locally. I refer to Central Asia, eastern part of Russia and China. And considering the targets we have in our hands, and then our exporters can easily reach towards Japan, South Korea, in Indochina. This is one issue. And furthermore, we have this new Green Mile legislation coming up. And for our exporters to maintain their volume of the cargoes and to even increase it furthermore, we need to, develop a more efficient railway system towards Europe, which we have been,
Yes.
trying very hard to, have a sustainable situation.
So, Maurizio, how important it is for a country to have an integrated transport lines, and where does Turkey's infrastructure stand now when it is compared to its Western and Eastern allies?
Well, railways infrastructure are crucial for the economy, for exports, for imports, given the location of Turkey geographically, also as a corridor between East and West. We have plenty of evidence from academic research to show that whenever new means of transportation are introduced, this will spur economic activity in terms of export, as was mentioned before, but also in terms of imports, because firms need raw material intermediate goods to be able to produce. And because of these activities, then there can also be spillover effects on the regions, on the localities that are along the lines. Speaking from the United Kingdom, then clearly what comes to my mind first is the connection to the east of Turkey. And in that sense, really, Turkey serving as a corridor between Europe and Asia. And here, clearly, China is on our mind. So it is fundamental. And I think that this really gives Turkey a great geographical position and a great economic possibilities. Now, what I was saying before is also not only the quantity, is also the quality in terms of being able to stick to plans, timetables, and so on. And then, however, we should not forget that there are political considerations that come into place in the sense that a smooth transition of goods on a train also requires the political will at the customs, at the border. As was mentioned before, there is a lot of discussion of sustainability. So, of course, and it's nice, the pictures that we see in the background, what we are talking about is not coal type of railway. So we have to think of the environment. And we also have to have systems that deliver on time. Think of the recent incidents in the Suez Canal. A problem there led to a 1 week of complete blockage on trade. The rail infrastructure allows much more flexibility, much more dependency in being able to exactly say this train should depart at this time and should arrive at this other time.
Yes. Okay. So, Murat, how has China's Belt and Road Initiative prompted Turkey to invest more on its railways infrastructure? And does it pose a threat to Turkey's trade, or they do complement one another?
Well, I mean, it depends on how you look at the circumstances. I know that, people consider it as sort of, it's a logistics between point A and to point B. I mean, it's Turkey to China. It is not. Okay, it's Belt Road covers, direct transportation all the way from China to Turkey and vice versa. And, we have so far managed 7 export trains towards China, which wasn't, in place previously. And this is a sort of only starting point. And we should also consider that the cross-border program of China, so welcoming all the small and medium-sized, let's say, producers, exporters from Turkey to export to China without any import duty, without any VAT, blah, blah. But Belt and Road, as far as we're concerned, and the Middle Corridor is concerned, doesn't only, concerns Turkey and China. It concerns, all other Central Asian countries where we were exporting in reasonable numbers. Now these numbers are picking up thanks to, Belt and Road initiation. And we will, this is not also for the future direct transportation between Turkey and China. This is Turkey consider economical and then very efficient access to China, Japan, South Korea, and then Indochina, because we will be facilitating the Chinese route, Belt and Road, parkour, to be able to get those countries at a very effective manner. And I need to give you to show you how efficient the railway is, because we can reach Vladivostok, which is the far end of Russia, in 20 days.
Yes.
From Turkey to Vladivostok in 20 days versus, if you pick up the sea ways, it's 3 times, longer.
Yes. So, Maurizio, are there any current geopolitical risks that could hamper the flow of goods from Turkey to both ends. I mean, where does Turkey stand in Europe's trade with China? And does US-China rivalry pose a risk to that trade?
Unfortunately, we live in a geopolitical situation that for many aspects is quite unstable. You mentioned the US-China trade war, and for sure China is a great friend, but also poses threats to many other countries when it comes to the economies. However, and we will see how we get out of the pandemic, trade is on the rebound, and there is no question that China and the Asia region more generally is a growing part of the global economy. So I cannot predict the numbers, but if we were to have these interviews in 10 years' time, I'm sure that we will still be praising the importance of a connection between East and West. And going back to what I was saying before, because of the geographical position, Turkey is in the middle. And going back to what I was said before, Turkey is important and infrastructure is important as a connection between East and West, but not only. What the study shows is that if you randomly were to build a railway system, because without thinking about the rivers or mountain or anything, because of the advantages it brings, activity will prosper along the lines, not homogeneously completely, but what was said before is that we have to think, Turkey has to think that this investment is not just because it is a corridor, because there will be positive spillover effects along the lines. However, we have to be conscious that there may be hiccups because the situation on the one end of what is the economic political relationship between Europe and Turkey, which we have to say from time to time is in better position than in others. And on the other side, even between Turkey all the way to China, there are various geographical political realities that may from time to time erupt and provide some sort of negative shock.
Yes.
And that's why then quality and a reliable system is even more important in that area of the world than elsewhere.
All right, gentlemen, unfortunately, we'll have to leave it here. Thank you very much for joining us on Straight Talk.